Now, contentment is a word that refers to being satisfied or being at peace with oneself through satisfaction. Truth is, today, the opposite is true of most of us. We are discontented. We're not satisfied in any area. We live our lives somewhat disappointed and sad, but true. Discontentment kind of goes hand in glove with covetousness. It really does. Because you see, if you're discontented, that means you're not satisfied with what you have or where you're at. And you long for more. And so covetousness and discontentment are kissing cousins, if you would. It's sad. But we're in one camp or the other tonight. We're either content or we're covetous. You can't hardly get away from it. Now, I know that we're all going to find examples where you can be unsatisfied and not covetous. I know that there's always an exception to anything that's said. But for the most part, all of our discontented attitude that we suffer from in this country especially, and maybe even in our church, would be from desiring that which we don't have and something that somebody else has, or wanting more. Now, the only thing that we're to covet each other's prayers. We're to covet the Lord. It's okay to covet God and want more of God. But in the most part, we're full of discontentment in what we have. Hey, in fact, we're taught by the world that we ought to be dissatisfied. We're always taught that covetousness, most of us like to think that it's only dealing with money. And if I mention the word covetousness tonight, we're all thinking about, he's saying we all want more material goods. That's not necessarily so. Covetousness could simply imply that we're dissatisfied even in our position in life. We're dissatisfied with what God's done for us in our relationship. We're dissatisfied in our position of authority or non-position of authority. And we want more. We want more power. We want more prestige than what we've got. But Paul said, I've learned a secret. I've learned how to be completely satisfied, completely contented with whatever I have. Now, discontentment that is the opposite of contentment causes a lot of problems. In fact, discontentment causes a lot of strife in homes. Do you know tonight that if you find a marriage in trouble, you're going to find people who are discontented with each other. They're discontented over the issue of money. They're discontented over the issue of treatment. They're discontented over the issue of life's curves that have been thrown at them. And so it always brings strife with it. In fact, through that strife, anger builds up and eventually hostility and disharmony just from being discontented. And so if we have an opportunity tonight to know the secret of finding the opposite of discontentment, which is contentment, I think we ought to look a little bit and say, well, what is it? What can I find out? How can I be contented? I mean, look, every one of us suffers, for the most part, from some discontentment. And Paul said, not me. I'm not discontented. He just put it on the carpet. He said, no matter what happens, I'm satisfied. He said, I appreciate what y'all have done for me, but I'm not dependent on it to make me happy. Thank you for the gift. And that's what he said in verse 10. He said, I rejoice in the Lord greatly that now at the last your care of me hath flourished again. He said, thank you for thinking of me. He said, I know you went through some hard times, but he said, I appreciate it. But don't ever think that I'm not going to go on and serve God and be happy and be satisfied with what the Lord allows me to go through. Don't ever think that I lost my joy of living because you folks have cut me off financially. He said, I appreciate what you did. But your gift is not what brings me contentment. Now, most of us, if I asked you tonight, what would you like, what would make you happy in life? Most of us honestly would say this. We go to the mailbox tomorrow, there'll be $500,000 in there or something. Some of us say maybe 10,000, 20,000. I mean, most of us would say, if I had everything paid for,